Hello everyone. My name is Yanping. I'm the presenter and also I'm the moderator for this session. So I apologize first if you hear my phone run about 1:23. It's my alarm set for myself as a reminder when I should stop. And feel free to unmute yourself and interrupt me during the talk if you have any questions, or just type in the chat. And I will try to address all questions a little bit later. Okay, so let's get started. What I really want to talk about today is just to put a little bit of seeds in your mind. I want to talk a little bit about modeling, but I'm not going over a whole full set of modeling situation altogether. So you will see what I'm going to discuss in a couple of minutes. Before I talk about it, I want to say a few words about myself and basically my background. So I'm from Loyola Marymount University at Los Angeles. We're about 5 minutes away from the Los Angeles airport. We have a really beautiful campus, and if anyone is going to visit Los Angeles, if you are around, shoot me an email. We would like to invite you to give a talk or just give us a visit. So our math department is relatively small. We have a master grant for educators. We do not have PhD program. We're part of the School of Science and Engineering. Our class size is about 20 to 25. And that's why we serve a lot of diligent and brilliant science and engineering students. That's why modeling actually is quite important in our courses. We try our best to engage them as much as possible. And for me, I'm a first-generation immigrant. I'm born and raised in China, received my bachelor degree from China, PhD from Penn State, which have about 11,000 international students, and started working at LMU about 10 years ago. We have about 10% international students. And because of my background, I have a lot of conversations with our international students on semi-regular basis. And before I dive into the talk, there are two situations or two conversations I've had with my students before. So one student, the first one actually is from Ethiopia, Africa. He shared with me that one of his professors asked Star Wars themed pool questions at the start of the lecture as an icebreaker during the first week of class. The second one is a Korean girl who shared with me her professor gave bonus question in every quiz, which is about written down the name of the capital city of a particular given country in each quiz. Both professors are really good professors. The students enjoy their course content a lot. However, they did also share their frustration with me as well. The first student said he didn't even know what's the difference of Star Wars and Star Trek. He felt very left out during the icebreaker session. And the second Korean girl said she was actually very, very good at the geography. She actually won an award for being capable of memorizing the matching of a capital city of the country and the country's name when she was quite young. However, during all those quizzes, she was not able to write down the correct English name for those countries, and therefore he cannot answer those questions. And she was too shy to tell the professor about it. She actually told me she enjoyed the Zoom teaching a lot because she could, briefly chat, and she doesn't have to speak up in class. So you may say, where's the math? Where's the differential equation? That's not what I'm here for. Well, trust me, I'll get into that. And before I dive into the math modeling part, I just want to give you one more example. So for every one of you, think about it. What is your New Year's Day? What is the beginning of a new year in your opinion? Well, for the sake of time, I'm not going to ask everyone to give me the answer. We actually had a quick discussion about this 2 weeks ago. And well, you can see based on your background, depends on you are from, I don't know, East Asia, or if you are Islamic or Jewish or from Iran. I mean, the first day of the year is so different from you. So whatever you do specially for the first day, same design course in class, your students may or may not be related to what you are talking about, because this is not the first day of the year to them. So one of my wonderful colleagues, Dr. Eubanks Turner, actually redesigned the history of math course in our department. It has been taught in the same way for the last couple of decades. And she actually moved away from the Anglo-American and Eurocentric point of view. She redesigned the course and included a lot of history of math from other parts of the world. So what exactly do I want to talk about today? I just want to play a little bit of seeds in your mind. It's actually, we can build a material that's friendly to students from different backgrounds, from different countries. And having a holiday theme, in-class activity or projects for those differential equation or modeling class have this international vision actually could be quite helpful. And also it's an invitation for you to join my breakout room session tomorrow about similar topic. If you have anything you want to discuss or to share, it's going to be 2 to 3 p.m. tomorrow Eastern time. Okay, so as I promised, we are going to talk about modeling and we are going to talk about mathematics. Well, I came up with this idea actually is from a casual conversation. So this is not actually something I've already used in class setting. I'm one of the co-organizers of the conference, and we realized the day right after the last day of our conference is supposed to be Valentine's Day. So I was joking, maybe we should do something about Valentine, and then we say, hey, why don't we do modeling about Valentine's Day? So the differential equation for love and happiness is something that we can totally do. And a lot of you might know this already, but just in case. So Dr. Stragas was still a postdoc at MIT when he published the love affairs and differential equation, you know, this one-page nice paper on the mathematical magazine in 1988, right? The model itself actually is relatively intuitive and it's beautifully done. It's the beginning of a lot of nice models and we are going to build on top of that. So if we use RT to represent we want to model the love between Romeo and Juliet. If RT represents the Romeo's love or hate towards Juliet time t, and we can define J of t equivalently as Juliet's love or hate towards Romeo. So we can build a very, very simple, and that's what's used in that paper. Yes, the slides are supposed to be advancing actually a lot. I've jumped into a lot of, okay. Let me see. I don't want to do okay, let me see.
Yeah, if you do presenter, it'll follow along as you click.
Yes, I was, oh my God. So it's not moving? Is it moving now?
No, because it's not in presenter mode.
It's in presenter mode. Now I'm confused.
Are you
because
sharing?
I
Do you
always
have two
teach
screens? Do you have two screens? You might be sharing the wrong one.
I am having two screens and I thought I'm sharing the right one.
That's the right one.
That's the right one.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you for bringing this up.
No problem.
I always teach with my iPad showing the projection. I've never done it on my computer before. That's how I have been teaching the past couple of years. No, 2 years on Zoom. Oh my God, this is a big problem. Sorry about that. So are we moving forward? Am I sharing the right screen now? I don't
All good now.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm only sharing my slides, right? Not the whole presenter view or. Yeah. Okay, great. No, thank you so much. Okay, this is really embarrassing. Okay, I will continue. So we were talking about the A and well, once we build our model, we can have our A and the sign of those terms, including the parameter A, B, and the RT and JT, could represent positive, represent its love, and negative means it's, well, let's see, it's hate, right? So this is the beginning of the whole model we have. And of course, like I said, I'm not talking about solving one model. I'm going to talk about how we can modify it and talk about a little bit other themes. So for example, we could, okay, I think it's advancing. Okay, so, well, solving it is pretty straightforward, right? We have a system of two linear ODEs, so we can build a second order homogeneous linear ODE with constant coefficient, and which is one of the most important topics in our ODE class, right? And then there's a lot of interesting discussions we could have about this. How do we choose the coefficient? What's the initial condition is supposed to be like? So just have a very brief example. If we have, they both start with response to commitment, so the more one loves the other, the more they will love back. So we will have A and B both positive, and they should both start with a little bit love towards each other. So our initial condition would be both positive. So we can talk about the fate of their, well, if we forget about everything else, if t tends to infinity, we're going to talk about forever love, right? And we can modify it a little bit further. That's a lot of cases. That's a lot of valuable discussions. You can separate students in different groups and just work on that. And of course, we all know that mathematical modeling is an iteration procedure. It doesn't just stay there. You construct a model, you test it, does it match with your expectation, and you improve it. So that's exactly what we are going towards. We are going to improve our model. Nobody said the love about the feeling of Romeo about Julia should only be depending on the love of Julia towards him, right? So why don't we build the model in a slightly improved way, which is also, by the way, published as a paper of dynamic model of love, and there's another one, dynamic models of happiness, right? So if you want to talk about more details, a lot of analysis has been done about it. So for example, just for the give one quick example of discussion. So we can choose, again, the A and B to specify Romeo's romantic style. A greater than 0 means Romeo is spurred by his own affecting feeling for her, and B greater than 0 means he's excited by Julia's love for him. And we can continue this discussion to all different styles where your students could have a lot of fun. And one way of solving it, we can convert it into the matrix form and try to understand our students to work things out. And the discussion of the parameters we have here can have a lot of different categories. For example, we could say, well, what if Romeo wants more of what he feels but retreats from Julia's feeling, right? What if Romeo is some kind of narcissistic nerd, right? So we have our A greater than 0 and B less than 0. And we can do the exact same discussion on the coefficient for C and D, which is about Julia's feelings. So we can have a lot of settings for students to work on in different groups, but they are all working on different types of situations. And we don't have to stop there, right? We can keep improving it, extend it to an undergraduate research project. So what else can we put in here? What else do we think can affect the love of Romeo and Julia towards each other? Yes, there are a lot of things we can include in our discussion. The appearance, right? Which is something, I guess, decrease with respect to time. And why don't we just put a linear function in there as part of the term, part of our model? Or maybe a fortune, which is something, let's hope it's increasing with respect to time. And nobody said you should only just be adding the terms depending on t, right? Not just adding extra parameters. How about a nonlinear term. Their love towards each other depends on their ability as a couple to have fun together. So why don't we have a nonlinear term r times j to make positive or negative contribution in our differential equation? Or why don't we introduce more variables, the family influences, the Romeo family Rf, or the Juliet's family J of F, or even push it a little bit further, we say marriage is the end of the love, right? Why don't we introduce some kind of delay or some kind of step function into it and modify our model? What if there's a mystery? They introduce a fifth differential equation into our system, right? So there are a lot of things we can talk about and modify, and it's related to our theme for the Valentine's Day in general. And don't panic. I know we are so close to Valentine's Day, and maybe it's too late to design anything that's relevant to it. If you are teaching differential equation right now, well, I do want to bring it to your attention, like what I was trying to say earlier. If you just bring in a little bit of international vision into this, there are so many different special days that can contribute, and they are relevant to the model of love. So for example, if you want to talk about a summer research program and celebrate and model about love, right? It's June 12th or the 7th of July. It could be the Lover's Day in a different country. And what I like the best, and what I'm planning to do when I teach this course in the coming spring, is South Korea actually have 3 different days, which is equivalent to the Lover's Day. They celebrated 3 times. And my plan for this is to do the basic model on February the 15th, just the basic model, when we try to introduce the second order linear ordinary differential equation with constant coefficient, revisit again on the White Day in South Korea, which is when we try to solve the system of differential equation by either a matrix form or use Laplace transform, and then revisit it again on April the 14th when we try to introduce more sophisticated models, and when students understand the whole idea of model analysis and model building a little bit better, right? So it can make a lot of fun into the class design if we just broaden our ideas just a little bit. And of course, you may say, well, this is about spring. What about 4th semester? What else can we talk about? Well, there's still a lot of things we can talk about. Well, during the pandemic, of course, the most important thing that we hope every single student who had differential equation at least hear the name of the SIR model. But anything that's related to infectious disease, there's actually a lot of special days that can be related to this. The National Influenza Vaccination Week, right? The International Nurse Day, the National Doctors Day. It doesn't have to be international, it's just national day. There are some really special ones that can be relevant. And a modified SIR model, we can revisit it so many times and just ask students to design and try to modify the model based on the type of disease you assign to each particular student or each student's group, so they can talk about it. And the most interesting in my opinion, of modified SIR model is to talk about zombies or vampires or rumors. So if we were to talk about zombie apocalypse, which is a very, very special design we could have to celebrate Halloween in the 4th semester. Well, believe it or not, I actually was shocked when I was trying to look this up. There are 20 Halloween-like days from around the world. So it's just a matter of which month you like to have it. You have a lot of different options. And this is just a snapshot of the worksheet I give to my students on the day of the Halloween's Day. And it's based on the paper When Zombie Attack. I think pretty much everyone know about this paper, and we can do a lot of modification on top of that as well. Like I said, I'm talking about not finishing one project. I'm introducing more about the possible modifications and how it can be related to different themes. So for example, Well, after introduce the model, we can do a lot of modifications, right? Human and the turn into zombie, or the disease coming back as a zombie, or zombie being killed. So we have in the removed diseased group. And well, there are a lot of variations we have. And in a lot of countries, even if they don't have Halloween, they have some zombie related movies, right? Vampire related movies. So they can relate to their own culture, their own background, and try to understand the whole thing a little bit better. So they feel the whole course is more relevant to them. And of course, the spread of the virus of a cough and the spread of the gossip, they are essentially something that's quite similar as well. And around the world, there are different types of prank days, right? So you don't really have to do it on April the 1st. You could have done it on different days, share the different cultural background a little bit with your students, or they can introduce the idea of how things work in their country on a prank day, and you do the modeling of the spread of rumors and so on and so forth in the class. So there are a lot of things we can talk about along the same line of thinking. For example, if you are an animal lover, or if you have a lot of students from, I don't know, biology background, there are a lot of person who care about animals. What you could do is you could talk about those special National Bird Day, or there's a National Bug Busting Day, or World Chimpanzee Day. You can talk about the population modeling, simplest one ordinary differential equation, or the predator-prey models. If you are teaching students from environmental engineering, you can talk about population modeling of human being with limited resources, the fishery. There's a lot of special days that can be related to it. And of course, if you are teaching a lot of pre-med students, they can also do modeling as well. We have National Pharmacist Day as well, if we can see a few words about PKPD modeling. So I'm not talking about just one idea of a modeling. I just want to say, I hope I'm capable of playing this a little bit seed in your mind when you try to design the course material. You can try to incorporate material that's friendly to students from international or maybe in more diverse background. And again, like I said, we can have more discussion tomorrow afternoon. You're welcome to come to my breakout session, which is R2, happening at 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern time. So if you have any questions, I'm so sorry about the issue we had earlier. If you have any questions, suggestions, concerns, or recommendations, we can talk now. And I encourage you to also email me, or we can talk into more details tomorrow. So thank you very much. I know I rushed a little bit. I typed my email address into the chat. So any comments, suggestions? Meanwhile, maybe I should let the next speaker try to share the screen. Share, yeah, just to test whether it can be run or not. While I hear any questions or comments. Thank you, Professor Holden. The next speaker is
that's us.
Oh, okay. Can you try to share screen?
Yep,
Just
I'm going
sure.
to.
Okay.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Yeah, sure. I was a little bit worried.
Are you seeing?
Thanks, Deb. Yes, we can see your screen. I'm so sorry about my tech issue earlier, and thanks for bringing it up.
That was a great
Please.
presentation. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you very much. Oh, great. I'm glad the Lovers ODU is class on Monday. Yeah, I mean, I heard my international students' concerns before when they came to me. It's just never occurred to me how I could have helped. And it's until I talked to my colleague, Dr. Eubanks Turner, about how she remodeled the course material for history of mathematics, and also sitting in the other interview we had with we are hiring for a DEI position. This nice candidate we have, totally engaged student, ask students to share their background and what's the first day of a New Year's celebration is for them, and so on and so forth. That brings me to the idea. So maybe when we try to design course materials, we can do it in a way that's more interesting and more engaging, and don't necessarily leave the international students out. So I don't know. That's the direction I'm gonna move towards, and like I said, it's my first attempt. I will try to see what I can come up with later.